What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and in today's video we got the latest updates surrounding Kanye West's now iconic $20 Yeezy Vultures merch collection, including the return of some OG pieces. Now before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to the homie Strain Beats, who's been cooking up the beats for these videos, so make sure you guys check him out. And while you're here, you might as well drop a like and subscribe and join our free Discord to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest. Shout out to all of my chefs in there. Now, if you've been following this carnival ride of a Vultures album rollout, pun intended, like I have, not only have you seen Ye drop his now iconic $20 Vultures merch collection, but you've also seen him take it away. And while it was a bit concerning at first to see these pieces disappear, with nearly all of us waiting for some kind of updates or for the merch itself, I'm glad to report it looks like we theorized correctly and that they were working on producing more of these pieces, as you can tell from the website, majority of them have now returned. Now, interestingly enough, these Yeezy pods are being advertised as again having an alleged shipping window of 4 weeks, which, given all the backlash and the fact that nearly no one has received them within that time frame, is an interesting choice and I guess remains to be seen. So for those of you interested in picking up your first pair of pods or perhaps scooping another one, this is a perfect opportunity, but don't ask me how long it's going to take to get to you. Now, in addition to Ye and his team restocking these iconic pods, we also have the addition of these early Vultures merch pieces, which you may recognize from the first Vultures listening parties. And while most of you will have more experience with this than myself, as I still don't have any of my pieces in hand, I want to remind you to be very careful when washing your merch, as it's very simple and very easy for the logo to actually wash off. And if you do have any issues with that, remember to email sply@yeezy.com, including some photos, and allegedly they'll hook you up. Now, when it comes to my overall thoughts and attitude about this restock, on one hand I think it's great news, especially for those of you that had a fear of missing out and hadn't quite yet picked up your first piece of Yeezy apparel. And since the team is now advertising these pieces as allegedly shipping within 2 weeks now, I'd say it's a great pickup and a no-brainer for the cool price of $20, which I've always advocated. But on the other hand, I'm just slightly confused and shaking my head, as I know there are tens of thousands of you like myself that are yet to receive a single piece of this Vultures merch and wondering what the heck is happening. Because like I said, on one hand, while I think this restock is a great opportunity for those of you to pick up extra pieces or perhaps pieces for the first time, or even picking up the correct size if you originally ordered incorrectly, the rest of us are kind of wondering how the hell can you advertise more new pieces without shipping out the original ones. So if you get where I'm coming from, please let me know in the comments, and if you have a different point of view, I'd love to hear that as well. Now, while I am happy to report on this random Vultures restock today, I also wanted to highlight the fact that yesterday Kanye dropped an all-new interview in which he answered some interesting questions, including questions on this Vultures merch shipping situation, and would go on to share his thoughts on the current shipping delays and frustrations of his fans and customers, mentioning that we're essentially purchasing art and investing into the equivalent of a startup company, so delays will happen. And on the other hand, he goes on to mention that people like myself or anyone that complains and posts something negative online is part of the problem and is on the wrong side of history. So I guess according to Ye, we're not allowed to be frustrated and voice our opinions. So thanks, my G. Now, with all that being said, Ye would also go on to mention throughout this interview that allegedly Vultures Volume 2 will be releasing next Friday, aka May 3rd. However, we have heard him promise dates in the past, so I guess we'll see. And while this Yeezy Gap piece seemingly came as quickly as it went, I also wanted to share the fact that EU customers and fans had the opportunity to purchase this gray Yeezy Gap tee earlier this week, so perhaps be on the lookout in the future. Now, something else I wanted to share with you guys, and a big shout out to my Discord for putting me onto this one about a week ago, is the fact that these white Yeezy slides have seemingly popped up on StockX, perhaps suggesting that they may have been produced and that we may see them in the future. And for those of you unfamiliar, these were initially advertised as $200 slides as part of the first Vultures rollout, but quickly disappeared. And for some dope Vultures merch lore, I also wanted to share what is allegedly the first sample piece of this Vultures merch so you can see just how far we've come throughout this rollout. And if you need a great quality hat to complement your Vultures fits, head on over to my website at wedontcookfood.com. Now if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments. Like I said, I am happy that fans have the opportunity to pick up these pieces, especially if they haven't in the past. However, I am wondering what's going on with those of us that have been waiting now for several months. Now, as always, guys, thank you so much for cooking with the kitchen. Remember to stay safe out there, and as always, remember, it's lit, straight up, and peace.